What's up, guys, and welcome back to Skins in the Game, episode number 33. We got J-Dubs here. How you doing, JW?
JW. I'm doing pretty good. Well, I'd be doing better if the Redskins didn't suck so bad, but no, I'm doing all right. How you doing?
Not too bad. I've been sick the last few days, so that sucks. But I'm surviving over here. I feel like I've woken up every day this week with some other weird ailment that I don't like. First day I woke up with like a fever, just sweat. My fever broke, just pool of sweat. The next day I wake up with like a headache and just don't feel good. The next day I wake up, I have a sore throat. I'm going through like every whatever this bug is, it's like kicking me in every direction. And whatever. I haven't had a fever since yesterday morning, which is good, but I'm getting through it. But today it's my throat that's acting weird. They didn't test strep throat because I didn't say that I had a sore throat the first day because I didn't. So maybe I got some sort of weird case of the strep throat where the throat. I don't know. I don't know what I got, but all I know is it don't feel good. So there's that. All right. What up, Pat Hanlon? Pat Hanlon in the building. How's it going, man? All right, Dad. What is the dad joke of the week? That's how we start every show.
Well, in keeping with, I know it's a little late for a Halloween themed joke, but I'm going with this one. Why don't skeletons go trick or treating?
Because they're dead. Why?
Because they have nobody to go with.
Uh,
But bum.
Nobody to go with. Oh, jeez. Oh, apparently Pat's in the same boat. He's got strep throat too. Jeez. What up, Pat? Oh, we have two Pats in the building. We got Patrick West and Patrick Hanlon. What's up?
We have Patrick's covered right now.
Yeah, we have too many Pats. No more Pats. No more Pats allowed.
We have reached the Pat quota.
Yeah, that includes you, Uncle Pat. Don't come by. Don't come through. No, just kidding. Love as many Pats as possible. If everybody was named Pat, I'm cool with that too. Some Patricias, so yeah, whatever.
Hold on, I gotta send a text to Rob from Haymarket.
Okay. Speaking of uncles.
Yeah, but go ahead. You can keep going. I
Yep.
I can multitask.
No, it's all good. Well, what's next is what do you got? And I already talked about my sickness, so I was gonna let you talk about whatever you got for the week.
Well, what I got for the week is I got blown out of my suicide league.
How?
I picked Cincinnati over the Jets, who happened to have a rookie quarterback, or I think he's rookie, but his first NFL start ever,
Mike White.
and he throws for over 500 yards and beats the number one seeded team. So that's what I got this week. Is I'm a bit sour of the whole. And it was the most popular pick in my league. So I think like 30-some% of the people in the suicide league got knocked out by Cincinnati. It was like, I don't know. I can't figure out this NFL thing this year. It's
you gotta. I mean, come on, you should have saw that coming.
oh yeah.
It's just like the Giants beating the Saints out of nowhere. We can't do that though.
Oh
Washington,
no!
Washington just can't do that. But no, it's totally normal around the league where the Giants take Kansas City down to 3 points, or the Eagles somehow beat Carolina, or whatever. Not us.
Yeah, and it's like trying to figure out how to pick Kansas City. It's like, my God. By the way, expert JK likes your haircut. I mean, it's kind of one-dimensional, but no, it's very neat, very high and tight.
Selena does a good job.
Was that a number 1 or a number 2 on the clipper cut?
It's actually 3, believe it or not.
It does not look like 3.
I think it's 3. Unless she did a 2 on me, unless she's screwing me over, like not telling me. But
yeah, if on the over/under on 3, I'm taking the under. Just so you know.
Breaking news: Scary Terry lost on Tuesday.
What?
I don't know what lost means on Tuesday. But
hey, Roger.
What up, Roger? How's it going?
So yeah, what is that?
I think he's
breaking.
Joking. I don't know what that could mean. because nobody loses on Tuesday.
Well, but do they practice on Tuesday?
Usually, yeah, but not this week because of the bye week.
Huh.
Yeah, usually they
Anyway.
would practice on Tuesday. Anyway, speaking of somebody who did lose, Montez Sweat out for 4 to 6 weeks with a broken jaw. And I said this last night on the Christensen podcast. Also, I didn't realize when I first heard, "Oh, Montez Sweat out," Montez Sweat has a broken jaw. I figured you're like, okay, whatever. That sucks. I'm sure it doesn't feel good, but I figured you could play through it. It's not like a leg injury or an arm injury or something like that. But no, apparently this is a very serious injury that is going to eliminate him for 4 to 6 weeks. What do you think?
Yeah, sorry. I just wanted to confirm. I know we talked about that before we started, that it was apparently during the Sunday game.
Yeah, okay.
It happened late in. Hold on. I just was curious because I don't recall. It appears to have happened late in the fourth quarter. But they don't. I'm trying to see what. This is Hogs Haven, and it does not give the specific play. But yeah, apparently late in the game. I mean, how do you break a jaw with the face mask? I'm be curious how that. I mean, obviously it can happen because it did, but how
something illegal must have happened. Like maybe a penalty was missed. Illegal hands to the face. Like if he got like up under the helmet and
yeah,
hit him in the jaw.
It'd have to be something like that. I mean, these guys are wearing serious face masks
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, it does not give the reason why. It just says late in the game. But I apparently missed that, as I mentioned to you too, that I watched the game without sound, so I didn't hear what they were talking about or if they were talking about it. But yeah, I mean, the problem with, I know you say you think somebody could play, but the problem is how it was broken and the possibility if it's broken a certain way.
Real quick, this is an idea. If he was going in too high, and then somebody put a helmet right in his,
right.
If he stayed too high, and the guy went in to block, and it was probably a run play that I would imagine. Probably not a pass rush, because a pass rush you're coming at them, but in a run play they're coming at you. So I bet he may have been trying to like set the edge. So when you set the edge, you're going to stay tall and get length and try to set the edge, and then somebody may have just come up and just ran right through his arm and punched him in the face with his helmet. Still, I don't know, head-to-head contact illegal? Come on, flag. Give me a flag. No chance.
Well, they don't get that. But I was just going to say, if you have a serious fracture to the jaw and it gets hit again, the jaw moving can cause serious like brain injuries. So I don't know what it is, or how it was broken, but that would make sense if it's something like that where they're like, we don't want to take a chance that this is going to get hit again and potentially cause severe brain injury. So it's got to be something pretty serious. But to your point, well, to anybody's point, any kind of broken bone doesn't feel good, and I'm sure in your face is not good either. So.
Yeah, and yeah, it was, so that makes complete sense. Yeah, because if it could be a re-injury, especially to a brain, I mean, we obviously the football or NFL, I should say, they've been trying to fight against brain injuries for years now. So yeah, so that makes sense. I just didn't know, and it was funny to me. Like as soon as I heard a broken jaw, I was like, oh, okay, whatever, no big deal. I don't know if you can put extra padding in your cheeks or something like that and call it a day. No, milkshakes for 3 weeks. Yeah, I did hear he has to change up his diet, which is interesting, which sucks.
I bet.
And apparently it's pretty real. Yeah, so good luck.
I was looking at the stats for him. Is this true that he got 0 tackles, 0 sacks, and obviously 0 tackles for loss? So what did he do for the first 3.5 quarters? Maybe he was just taking, occupying.
He sets the edge, is what he does, and that's what the film shows. Like every time I go and watch, it's like they most of the time they're running away from him. It's funny, they're actually challenging Chase Young way more than they're challenging Montez Sweat throughout this year. Like wherever Chase Young goes, they more often than not they go that way rather than go Montez Sweat's way, which is interesting. I guess they have more respect for Montez than they do Chase.
Well, I'm looking. Oh, Chase Young, 4 tackles, 3 solo.
True, he is big. What up, though? Ooh, wired shot. That sucks. Did Anquan Bolden have this too? Is that why you said Anquan Bolden? What up, Leadfoot, by the way? What's up, John? Says Chris.
Oh, Jarris, you're talking about?
Yeah, that's my co-host, Chris.
Oh, okay. I don't know these things. I don't keep up with all the stuff you do. But yeah. So
He
I was
doesn't
just
love
looking at.
me. He what he just said is he doesn't love me. Okay, that's what he just said. No, I'm just kidding.
But yeah. So apparently, Chase Young is. Well, I didn't. I tried to watch him more to see if he continues to do the same move every time, but
hmm
obviously he got 4 tackles or was involved in 4 tackles, so he's getting some activity. But for somebody of his caliber, you would expect to get more than just that out of a game. But
Yeah, for sure. We'll get more into that once we go through the Denver loss for sure. But
yep,
that's a good note to make of talking about Chase. Yeah, it's an interesting conversation. But some things from the Ron Rivera press conference was kind of interesting. And number one was Monday going into the trade deadline, which was 4 o'clock on Tuesday. Ron Rivera said this. He has not evaluated the team for the first 8 weeks of the season.
that makes that makes well. And let me before I make that comment, what exactly does evaluate the team mean? Because I would think that you're evaluating the team every freaking practice, right? But
He looks like John.
yeah, I noticed you said that's Chris. I noticed what he said about I look like John Riggins. Okay,
Dude,
I
he
mean,
every time we're doing a play by play or something, he'll just say, "Tim, you kind of look like Anquan Bolden. Hey, Tim, you kind of look like it, like somebody like I have no business. Like you kind of look like Chase Young. You kind of look like just you kind
well,
of
I
look
was gonna
like
say,
Brandon Sheriff. Actually, I do look
yeah,
like Brandon Sheriff. So
I was gonna say that I might. It's possible that I look sort of like John Riggins, but I'm not nearly as funny as him. He cracks me up whenever he's on the radio. Just his sense of humor is pretty funny.
yeah,
But anyway, so the trade deadline.
yes, the trade deadline turned out to be very uneventful for us, and there was a couple of rumors floating around in the Washington deal. But you want to go through those rumors first, or do you want to like just have an overall thought of should we have made moves? Like, was there things that you think that was missed, opportunities missed, or do you think we should have kind of? It's fine to stand pat, keep our picks, move forward with what we got, and kind of go into next offseason, kind of checking out of the season.
Yeah, I didn't see anything glaring that it was like, or maybe something related to the secondary might have been, you know, but I just think maybe, they didn't want to give up a whole lot knowing that this season is basically trash
Yeah,
and
especially with
barring some,
Dallas 7-1, even with Dak Prescott going down. Yeah, it
yeah,
sucks.
short of some miracle where they roll off like 9 wins in a row, which, which I don't think is there that many games
I
left.
think there's
This
exactly
is
that
week,
many games actually.
yeah.
Yeah, there's exactly
So
that many games.
I mean, yeah, they would have to get to what, 10 wins? And
Um, 10
I
wins would be
doubt,
8 wins. Yeah, so winning 8 out of the last 9.
no, and I'm not saying I believe, but I think that for them to have a shot at the playoffs, they'd have to get to 10 wins. And I see zero chance of that. Not even, I would be surprised if they win half that many games. But it just, unless something, like I said, and I know I said this last week, that unless something changes dramatically, well, maybe that's not true, and we can get into more of that later about the details of what I see going on. But so let's go back to the trade rumors. So
All right. Well, one big rumor was Landon Collins apparently being put on the trade block late into, I believe, Monday. Like sometime in Monday afternoon, they threw Landon Collins on the trade deadline basically within 24 hours, like within 24 hours of the deadline, and it looks like they could not make anything happen. Are you happy that he's staying, or you think he should have? Are you sad that we didn't get a deal done?
Well, I'm not really sad, and I know we're going to talk about the game. I thought that his move to linebacker, just
Mm-hmm.
at a very high level right now, I thought that he had a much better game this last week. I saw him you know, involved in the plays a lot more often, and he seemed like he's potentially, or he's got some potential, I should say, at linebacker. So I'm not sad they didn't trade him, and I don't know what, the details of what they would have gotten for him, whether or not they would have gotten picks or whatever. So I don't have a strong opinion like they should have done it, but I don't know that had they done it, that I would have been I wouldn't have been, to the flip side of that, upset that they didn't,
You're
or they
pretty much
did trade
just
him.
like our fan base, because I put a poll out on the YouTube channel, and thank you everybody who votes on the polls. We get some good turnout on the polls on this channel. I think it was like over 300, maybe almost 400 votes, and the vote was exactly split. I asked the question, should we trade Landon Collins? And it was like, yes, without hesitation. And the other one was like, no, he's finally playing good. Keep him. And it was exactly 50-50 out of almost like 350 plus votes or something like that
Wow.
on that. It's no, we don't want to or some people want to trade him and other people don't. So it's funny this you're also right there on the middle of hanging out with the fence sitters.
Yeah, I'm pretty right on the 50-yard line on this one.
Yeah.
But I was wondering, does that make 50% of the people that took your poll wrong? Or, it's
I
like,
think so because I have my opinion. So
so
well, it also
yeah,
depends on what the deal is, right? Because like the whole reason why I want to trade him is to get rid of that contract. So if they trade him and have to keep some of the money, then that's pointless because he is playing better. So if I keep half the money, that's basically like, oh, I could have paid Landon $8 million instead of 16, and Landon at $8 million is good. Like I would be fine if Landon was
yeah.
making $8 million. Like I would not want to trade him at all for 8 million. But the fact that he's making 16, that's why I want to trade him. And
Right.
because since we moved him to linebacker, he is now the fifth highest paid linebacker in the league.
Yeah,
Do we have any illusions that Landon Collins is a top five linebacker in the league?
I don't know
Yeah,
if
exactly.
anybody else does.
Exactly. So that's the whole
Yeah.
reason why I wanted to trade him. But as I said, to that point, so if we didn't get rid of some of the contract money, but I would have traded him for a bag of chips. And I'm not kidding. If somebody wanted to take that $16 million contract, I would have handed him off. Here you
And
go.
did you hear? You said they put him on the block. I assume they didn't get any takers or
There
any
was no,
interest, or
I didn't see any reports on it's somebody like offered sixth for him or offered whatever. Like I didn't hear that. The one thing that was interesting is the next rumor, kind of tied to this a little bit, is Washington showed interest in the former number 2 overall pick, Mitch Trubisky, backup quarterback now for the Bills, used to be the starter for the Bears, who was on the I don't know what you would say, but who was the pick that was a part of one of the worst trades I've ever seen on draft day. Not the worst, but one of the worst, because literally the Bears moved up one pick, right, and got a terrible quarterback, but then sent extra picks. I thought it was one of the biggest heists I've ever seen because San Francisco wanted this guy Solomon Thomas anyway. So they moved back one pick, added a bunch of extra picks, and still got Solomon Thomas. It was like, oh, well, perfect. Like, yeah. Solomon Thomas
sounds like a
ended up
pretty
not
good
being
deal
very
to
good,
me.
but
Right.
no, nonetheless, it was still like one of the, I don't know if you'd call it like the worst trade, because obviously if they did it for Lamar Jackson or Pat Mahomes or somebody like that, then we would be talking about, oh, this is one of the best trades ever, kind of thing. But it was still an interesting
Yeah, I want to see
thing there.
what his career stats are. I don't know them offhand, so I was just going to pull
Mitch
them up real
Trubisky,
quick.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mitch Trubisky, he's more of a running style quarterback, not like in a good way though. He's not like Lamar. He's not really known because they moved him around the pocket a lot. His numbers kind of resemble actually one of like Cam Newton, and it's interesting. Like they have kind of the similar numbers if you go through it. Cam Newton probably has a little bit better running stats, especially when you look at totals, because Cam Newton ran a whole lot more. But the stats were still pretty similar to his style in like the Cam Newton era. But I was not interested in Mitch. But that being said, Mitch is only making $2.5 million this year. If I could have offloaded Landon Collins and got Mitch, please,
Yeah,
I'll take Mitch.
that makes sense. So it doesn't look like he did anything great in this 2017, 2193 yards, 7 TDs, 7 interceptions. 2018 was 3,200 yards, 24 and 12, 63 or 66% completion, 3,100 yards, 17 and 10, 2,000 yards, 16 and 8. And then I find this interesting that it says that in 2021 he has 100% completion percentage for 9 yards. So I'm guessing he went in for one play and threw a completion. That's the only way I can figure it.
Yeah. When was that?
2021.
Oh yeah, because he's the backup to Josh Allen right now.
Right. So apparently he went in. It looks like he went in for one play, and has a 100% completion percentage for 2021. So hey, we should have signed him. A whole 9 yards. That's
Yep. So Amon agrees. He wanted to trade it for the 5th most expensive linebacker in the league with 2 weeks experience. Yeah, exactly. That's funny. I believe it was Redskins fan 10. Yeah, Redskins fan 10 voted to keep him. Interesting. Roger says no. Keep Landon in his role. This would bring back some value in that signing. Restructuring him would be wise. If not, then get rid of him. Well, the thing about restructuring is just kicking money down the road there, Roger. Like, I don't really, like, I know that there's teams that do it, like the Saints do it. I think the Rams do it. Like, it's a popular tactic to restructure guys to stay under this year's salary cap and just kick the can down the road. I don't really buy into that mindset. I think that you should pay the guys you want, and then, I like how our old GM did it, honestly. Or not GM, but what was the guy's name? Eric Schaefer, the money guy,
right. Yep.
For the years,
Yep.
where it's like all the money is basically front loaded, and then if it's a 5-year deal, by year 4 you could cut them and save half the money. And year 5 you basically could cut them for nothing. So you're laying in your bed for the first 3 years, whether he's good or not, and then you have options to get out of it by year 4. And in theory, you should have to wait 3 years to evaluate a guy anyway, that he's, fitting into your system and whatnot, like, or making sure that he's making the right progress, different things like that. But anyway, it's still an interesting conversation. And I like the fact that Landon's playing better also. So I'm not going to complain that he's not gone, but I already said my piece on why I think he should be gone. So
no, it makes sense with the money. And I was checking. So he's in his 7th season. So what that make him 29, 28, 29?
Yeah,
I would guess. So he's still, got some life left in him. And yeah, if he can shine at linebacker, but I agree with you, not for 16 million. Yeah. But it's, I don't know. I kind of like it to the Josh Norman signing where he was like never really lived up to the hype. Although I don't know what he got paid. I think he got paid quite a bit for that at that time. But yeah, so I don't.
He only got paid $1 million less per year than Landon.
Yeah, see and I said that I'm not sure if I said it to you, but I know I said this when they signed him, that he was good in Carolina because the Carolina front line didn't give the quarterback but about 2.5 seconds to throw the ball. So he only had to cover a guy for like a split second, and then it was like he either threw the ball out or he was sacked because they just had a unbelievable. My recollection is they had an unbelievable line at that time. So it was like,
Kawan Short was a monster. Luke Kuechly in the middle of that defense at the middle linebacker. I'm sure there was other ones that I'm not thinking of off the top of my head. But yeah, that front 7 was monstrous back there in Carolina for 2015. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, Josh Norman looked great. Hey, he does. Nobody catches the ball on him. It's like, well, because the quarterback can't get it to him. So But anyway,
Well, he
so
also
yeah,
just played well. He was a zone corner, but he did. I mean, there's a reason that the NFL players voted him the 11th best player in the league after the 2015 season. Like, it was not just Dan Snyder that decided to pay him, and he was the only one that liked him.
yeah, I get it. It was a
He,
consensus. Yeah.
yeah. Well, at least from the players. I guess if you I don't know if you took a consensus of the 32 GMs, what did they think about him and whatnot. But he was playing up, and he also had like a swag about him. Like, you remember the whole feud with him and Odell Beckham, and like there was a whole thing where he fit the whole bill of like the Richard Sherman type of corner. Not the fastest guys in the world, long arms, tall, lanky. Maybe not the great recovery speed, but the length to kind of get your hands in there, and
Right.
strength
And
also
position
to stuff.
themselves well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he kind of had the same, but then when he got here, it just completely fell apart, which it seems like that's what everybody does once you get to Washington. But all right, let's have some fun talking about. I mean, I don't know how much fun this could be, but let's have some fun talking about the Denver loss.
Yeah. You might as well call it fun.
Yay!
Let's get some
17 to
joy out
10.
of it.
You gotta do it. 'Cause otherwise, you would say the truth, and the truth ain't pretty. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Let's review the carnage.
yeah, exactly. I know a lot of people are talking about different quarterbacks coming out of this draft. Chris and I talked about our opinions on the draft picks yesterday. If you want to go watch the show, but you haven't really looked. You don't watch college football, right?
No, I very rarely do I watch college.
Yeah, there's some interesting quarterback process. Just to tell you, there's a guy that I really like. One of my favorites is Kenny Pickett. Plays for Pittsburgh, and he's like a 6'3", big, like not a huge guy, but built dude. He's not a twig by any means. He's like 225, something like that, and
Right.
strong arm, pocket presence. He's not a dual threat guy really. He has enough legs to move, but I don't know like what the best comparison is for him, to be honest. Chris said he kind of reminds him of Derek Carr in Oakland, or excuse me, Las Vegas. But I don't know. It's interesting. I like him so far, but I don't know yet as far as like that's the guy I'm all in for. But that's the guy that I'm leaning towards. Then there's a guy, Desmond Ridder for Cincinnati, who seems to be like the Justin Herbert of this draft. Big body guy, strong arm, good mobility, faster than Justin Herbert actually. A little bit of accuracy concerns, and he's also not beating up on these weak teams. They're like the number 2 in the nation, and like they played Navy and beat them by like 7 or something. It was like a super close game that came down to it, which Navy's not very good this year. So
Right. So let me ask you this. So your feeling is if the Redskins season continues in the direction it's going, that they draft a quarterback next year?
Oh, I don't care what the season looks like. I don't care if Taylor Heinicke comes out and throws 24 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. I'm drafting a quarterback. I'm definitely to the point where I need a franchise guy, and I don't think that Heinicke can be the franchise guy. And
Well, and let me just add one more comment that the success rate in drafting quarterbacks is 50% or less.
I didn't know that. Sorry,
I
just like this comment. He says he has Whopper Junior hands, which is important. If he has small hands, that's fair. I didn't know that. That's a good point. If he does, that's something I have to look into.
Whopper Junior hands. I love that expression.
You know what's funny is that's actually what they called me in college.
Right.
They said it was like when I had the football in my hand, it's like I had a Whopper, and like the old commercial with the Whopper where like everybody's hands were tiny.
Oh,
compared
okay.
to the Whopper. Yeah, so it's like I was running around the field with a Whopper in my hands because I had small hands. But I would catch everything that came my way. But they were like, my tight ends coach would make fun of me because he's like, man, whenever you get that ball in your hand, it looks like it's a Whopper in your hands.
Yeah, well, now that you said that, I recall that, but I did not get the reference at first. And yeah, that is funny. Whopper Junior hands. That's hilarious.
Yep.
But
no. All right, so I wanted to start talking about this loss where arguably the guy that lost us this game, because as you mentioned, that, or at least before the show, you mentioned that you think the offense did some good things, which I can agree, but Chris blew it. Is he the worst kicker? Like, obviously he's the worst kicker in the league, but is he the worst kicker in history? 3 out of the first 5 kicks blocked. What?
Look, I thought suck up was a bad name for a kicker. Blew
Suck it
it
up.
when I heard they signed somebody called Blew It, and then the first kick he kicks, he gets it blocked. I just had to start laughing. It was like you have the last name of Blew It, and yeah, he's
Yeah.
I don't know. I know you were saying about Ron Rivera saying he's doing something wrong with his off foot. I don't know. It just he's kicking the ball too. When a defender can stand up and just put his hand up like this and block it, it's like,
I don't know if you went back and watched the first one. You do realize the first one wasn't even blocked by their guy. It hit our left guard in the head.
oh, I did not.
It hit Wes Switzer in the head.
Yeah,
That's how low.
you're not gonna make too many kicks when it's 6 feet at the line. Just saying.
Hey,
But
six
yeah,
foot six. Give me some credit. No, I was kidding. I don't even know how
yeah,
tall
there was.
Wes Switzer is, but yeah, it hit him in the head. That's how it got blocked the first one.
Well, and the problem is in general with kickers that it is a mental thing that um I think it's kind of like pitchers to some degree, but where you go out there and do something wrong, now it's in your head.
Ron compared it
And
to a golfer.
yeah, that's a great analogy too, because you got if they go out and make their first kick, now they got confidence the next time they think they're going to make it. And you're right, with golf, you make a bad shot, now you're worried about the next time I go to hit the ball, I'm going to make another bad shot. And I think
Mhm.
that's the problem with him. Not, I mean, I heard he didn't he set like a scoring record or something in college, or he had something. I don't know if it was a scoring record, but at the college he went to, but he had some kind of record saying he was a good kicker. And the problem is when he kicked the first one low, now it's in his head. Now he's kicking them all too low. And
He wasn't great in college. He does have a strong leg. Like the guy could. I mean, we see it on the kickoffs, right? Like you know when a guy doesn't have a strong leg, but this guy is kicking it out of the back of the end zone pretty
well, didn't he
consistently.
make a 50? Is it a 53-yard? What was the
Yeah,
kick he made?
53, 52, 53, somewhere in there.
Yeah, Hopkins would have blown that one. so,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's going to be a running joke unless he can turn it around and start making
Yeah,
some
Vaughn was
kicks.
saying
But
when they looked at the film, so I listened to the press conference today. The first time he thought maybe it was something with the whole system, which that's a whole different thing. But anyway, what they said on the film, it looks like he's putting his off foot too far ahead of the ball. So when his leg comes down, he's kicking too high on the ball. So it's not getting the underneath and not getting the air it needs to come off. So,
right,
but if you look at like he thought it was like he was trying too hard, like he's running at it and trying to kill it, and that's why his foot's placement's a little bit off. Like he's coming at it too hot, and then his foot
right.
placement's a little too far off, and then it doesn't get that underneath because there's a sweet spot on a football. I probably should have a football, but I don't have a football. Anyway,
No, I
it's
know
like
what you're. It's
yeah, it's right under the half and about like 2 inches down or something like that. And it's like right in the middle of that is like the sweet spot of the football. And apparently he's kicking it too much at the half instead of
right.
at underneath it. So
Well,
we'll see.
sorry.
Chris thinks it's correctable, but we'll see.
Well, it's possible, but I'm curious. I just had this thought that makes total sense to me is that when kickers are practicing throughout the week, do they put any kind of obstacle in front of them or do they just go out and kick field goals? What I'm saying is like
Yeah,
12 feet in front of them, put a 8-foot wall and you got to kick your field goals over this wall.
right.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't know that I've never heard of them doing that, but it would seem to me that would make total sense. And yeah, Rob from Haymarket is correct. he, he has a very apropos last name, just to say.
It's
But
unbelievable.
but wouldn't that make sense to you though that they would put something like that so the kicker is kicking 50-yard field goals over an 8-foot wall?
I mean, I don't hate the idea. I think it's a great idea, especially in his case. When you need the practice, go ahead and do it. Like I'm not complaining about that idea, and it would be about 8 yards away, and he has to put it. He has to put it over at least 8. No, let's say 12-foot wall, pretty much. Like put a 12-foot or 12-foot net even. Like because a football player can jump really high.
Yeah. Well, and
So
I said 8 feet. You're right. That's not high enough, but still.
Yeah, because basically I'm close to 8 feet when I just put my arm up. Like I might not
Right.
quite be there. I don't know how long that is.
No, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I was just going to say that back, just as when I went to high school at DeMatha, Morgan Wooten, there was a player on a team they were getting ready to play that was like 6'11".
Uh-huh.
So in practice, he gave the defense tennis rackets, and they were playing with tennis rackets. So you had to shoot over these tennis rackets. And when they went and played this guy that was 6'11", it didn't make any difference to them because they were used to having, had all the defenders with tennis rackets. So I just had that thought that you do that with the kicker, make them kick it over something, and then when there's guys in front of them, it's not like a shocker. So.
Yep, for sure. What Leadfoot? I believe he's a Chargers fan, so he got our last kicker. Dustin Hopkins is actually a Charger now. But what's wrong with the last kicker? The last kicker, honestly, I think you guys got a decent kicker. I really do. I don't hate Dustin Hopkins. The problem with Dustin Hopkins is he was mentally done here. And so we both needed to make a separation. And I think he could still be a solid kicker somewhere else. But the reason I'm glad he's gone is because he was clearly favoring something mentally in that transaction. So
I'd compare him to Graham Gano.
Yeah.
Graham Gano here was like, and then he went. I can't think of where he went
Carolina.
to right now, but he's making great kicks now. Yeah, right.
Oh, now he's in New York. But yeah, I think he has a 62-yard kick in his career. Graham Gano. Yeah, he was struggling from 45 here in DC. It was terrible. But yeah, we just can't get the kicker. But that's why the kicker needed to go. All right. You want to talk about offense or defense first?
Well, let's talk about offense.
Because
again, I think this defense played well enough to win this game. I'm looking at the team stats. First downs, we outdid them 21-17. The time of possession, I know we talked, was 31-28, so not a big deal. Total yards, 300. Wait a minute. Hold on. 342 to 273. I thought it was more than that on theirs, but outpassed them. Time of possession. I'm looking at all of these things. More first downs. Had one more drive, but as I was saying to you, with 342 yards rushing, total yards, and you have 10 points on the board, they can't finish. And I felt the same way against the Packers. They moved the ball. They consistently moved the ball. They were consistently moving down the field, and then they shoot themselves in the foot. Yep. So I don't know if that's a coaching thing, what a mental thing it is, but they've obviously got talent to move the ball. Why can't they finish drives? Is that a play calling? I'm having a real serious problem with Scott Turner right now because we've talked about his, rinse, wash, rinse, repeat, or whatever that expression is, where it's like, okay, pass it down the middle, incomplete, run it up the middle for 2 yards, throw it into throw the screen that gets blown up, and it's like they move the ball, and then it's maddening. So I think our biggest problem, I would say in the last couple of games, maybe in the last 3 games, but certainly in the last 2 games, because I think we did Green Bay too. But when you have, I think there was 4 turnovers against Green Bay, and
something like that, yeah.
And I'm looking at, we had 2 turnovers in this game.
And a turnover in downs. And 2 missed field goals. So basically 5 turnovers.
Yeah. And, I didn't feel bad. That 4th down inside the red zone, I didn't feel bad that they went for it.
True, Pat. True.
What's that?
Hey, no, I was talking to the commenter. He said we really missed Logan Thomas. It's true. Here we go. Rob from Haymarket. Our offense plays like they're getting ready to go hunting with Dick Cheney.
All right, that's not right. That's funny, but that's not right.
You shoot yourselves instead of your target.
Yeah, it's but anyway, we can move on to
maybe
the defense.
Maybe that was the target. No, I was kidding. Anyway, we're not going
No.
down a conspiracy theory.
Right.
No, that's funny. Would it have been better to ride out the season with him? Your current kicker situation seems dire. As I said, I wasn't happy. I was fine to get rid of him. I wasn't happy with Blewett. I would have liked to go and get Josh Lambo out of Jacksonville, who got cut because he struggled to start this year. But if you look at his past years, he was pretty good, right? Or like there's another kicker that just got cut. Maybe even Joey Sly. I don't know. Like at least these guys have kicked in a regular season game. But like some people talk, oh, they're not clutch, they're not this, they're not. What is Dustin Hopkins? Dustin Hopkins ain't that either. So at least.
Well, I remember the stats. I will say I remember the stats that it was 2 weeks ago. Was it that when he got cut that he was 12 for 14? But your point, and it was a valid one, was that's because on kicks over 50 yards, they were going for it, or they weren't bringing him out because they were like, okay, he's not going to make something that far.
Yep.
So that was the problem. His stats on paper look good. It was like, hey, 12 for 14 is pretty good. But when you're going for it on 4th down and 3,
down and 10.
Yeah.
A 53-yard attempt. We went for it on 4th and 10.
Yeah. That's a sign of, okay, he just doesn't have the leg strength. So
what the weird thing is he does. The dude can kick. It's just an accuracy thing, I guess, or distance, or as I said, like a mental thing. Like just like Chris Blewett, you could see when they kick the kickoffs, the thing goes out the end zone a majority of the time. Like the guy has a strong leg. That's why. And Jay Gruden didn't send him out there for long kicks either. And I remember it was like a 57-yard attempt, and we're going for it on 4th down. I'm like, we literally got rid of Kai Forbath because this guy's supposed to have the stronger leg.
That's what I was going to say. Hopkins was brought in because Forbath could not kick it into the end zone.
Yeah. And it's like, and then yet we're scared to kick a 57-yarder. And granted, he's never made a 57-yarder. And I don't even know how many he's attempted, to be honest, because we never really sent him out there. He's made a 56-yarder, but he's never made a 57. And, I don't know. It's just a weird whole rigmarole. But enough about the kickers. But yeah, Roger Smith, Roger loves to run the football. An I formation or single back under center has to do it. But what does he say here? Scott Turner doesn't value controlling the line of scrimmage. This is the most important aspect of offensive football. There's no toughness and physicality in the scheme. Excuse me. Well, I agree that we should be running your style offense because our quarterback's not good enough. But I think the style offense is fine if you get a quarterback like Justin Herbert, if you got a young quarterback like Joe Burrow, or somebody on those lines that can read the defense. One of the reasons why I wrote in the notes that Taylor Heinicke, or the offense is garbage, is because of Taylor Heinicke. And I know we move the ball a decent amount in some areas, but a lot of these bad situations are on him. Like the things that shoot us in the foot are on him. The screen pass to Ricky Seals-Jones, the tight end. You remember that one?
Mm-hmm.
That was a double screen. He didn't have to go to Ricky. And he had the numbers on Gibby's side. And you knew it was man-to-man because when Gibby went in motion, Gibby was in the slot on the right, and Gibby went in motion to the left side, the defender ran with him. So it's man-to-man defense. And Ricky Seals-Jones has a defender right in front of him. And he decides to throw it out there. And so the defender has an easy tackle. And then the linebacker that was blitzing sees that the ball thrown. And then he comes to help tackle. Now Ricky Seals-Jones has nowhere to go. But if he would have just swung it out there to Gibson had 3 blockers in front, 3 defenders out there. He had the numbers on that side, especially when the offensive line gets out. And instead he throws it to the other side. I saw him on, do you remember the 4-yard out route to DeAndre Carter near our own end zone that was dropped? If you don't, that's okay.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
he dove for it and he didn't quite get it because it was kind of a bad throw. Yeah.
Right.
He should have handed it up the middle. That's an RPO. And you could tell it's an RPO because the offensive linemen are getting to the second level. They're not staying back to block. They're getting to the second level because it's a run-pass option, obviously. So, but he had 6 blockers and 6 defenders in the box. Run it up the middle, hand it off, see what he could do. There's little things like that. Or another one was Terry McLaurin going to the end zone. Terry McLaurin kind of stopped because he was looking for a back shoulder throw, and Taylor threw it over the top. Which, why are you throwing it over the top when the defender has over the top covered?
Right, he is over the top. I
Yeah.
do recall, and I'm sorry I can't recall the specific play, but he threw I think it was a check down. It was like 3rd down and 4 or 5, something like that, and he threw it to the check down. And when you were watching the play, there was a Redskins receiver that was behind the play, or beyond the play, like 10 yards, and nobody was close to him.
Yeah.
And I just remember thinking that guy was freaking wide open, and Taylor Heineke is doing the check down, and it's like that. There wasn't anybody within 5 yards of him. It's like, he was doing a crossing pattern, and it's like you throw it to him, you got the first down by 8 yards.
Yeah.
But he throws it to the check down, and the guy doesn't get the first down, and they have to punt. And I'm sorry, like I said, I can't remember which play it was. I just remember seeing that and going, why did that had to be totally obvious to anybody that, to your point, that can read a defense. So
yeah, and it sucks, and because I've seen him miss things that are the play design. That's more frustrating. I feel like there was one play, I think it was against the Packers, where the play design was to attack the zone linebacker in the middle of the field, right? And he had a receiver, I think it was Ricky Seals-Jones, the tight end, on the left side, and I think he had Adam Humphries on the right side. And Ricky Seals-Jones' job was to run right at that linebacker, turn around, and sit. Adam Humphries' job was to run right behind that linebacker. So basically, whatever that linebacker decides to do, you're screwed. If you stay up and cover the short, I got you right over the top. If you go back to cover the deep, I'm going to just hit it right underneath. Like, that's the play design. That was what the play was meant to do. Adam Humphries got wide open. Just how the play was designed. And he didn't throw it to him. And you're just like, why? I think he even took a sack on the play because I think he tried to escape the pocket and run with it. And you're just like, throw it. That's the play design. It worked. That's what you wanted. Or like a red zone play. I think it was against, I don't remember if it was the Packers now or if it was the game before that. The Chiefs maybe. Where a player was on, or two receivers on both sides. It was Dax Milne in the slot. Then you had, I think it was Ricky Seals-Jones and Adam Humphries on this side. And the play design, it was to beat a zone. The play design was that the two receivers on the right side ran hitch routes. So they just ran right at the defenders and turned around. And that sucked the defense up. And then Dax Milne on this side runs behind the defense and is wide open in the back of the end zone. Again, open. Sling it out there. Instead, he tries to do something else and tries to get around. And you're just like, that was the play design. You executed the game plan and you didn't throw it. Like, it's frustrating.
So how often do you think and maybe that's a little bit of a Scott Turner defense, that's saying maybe his play calling looks inept because the guy running the offense doesn't see the right decision or see the right option at the time or make the right choice. So maybe the wash, rinse, repeat notwithstanding that I was talking about earlier, that maybe there's a lot more plays out there where Scott Turner has it schemed correctly, but Heineke's not seeing it and not making the right choice.
Right. And I basically, my goal here is to be factual, I guess is what I'm trying to do. Like, I have my problems with Scott Turner. And one big problem I wrote down is Terry's not getting open. I went through the whole game, and I don't recall really ever that I looked back at the play, and I looked at Terry, and Terry was wide open and missed. You know, like, and I don't blame Terry for this because they're not doing enough they're not running enough slants. They're not running enough, route running style routes for him. He's just doing deep drags, easy to cover. They're just running along with him. It's not hard. Or it's deep routes. Okay, it's a go route. Cool. That's not hard to cover. He's running a lot of routes that are not really tough to cover. And pretty much every time
So
he was
he's not
open,
running technical routes. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. It's a lot of easy coverage routes, and I blame that on Scott Turner. You have a phenomenal wide receiver, one of the best in the league, in my opinion,
With great
and you're just
hands and great route runner. Yeah.
100%, and you're just not using him to the best of his abilities, which that should be your goal. If you watch Devontae Adams, their goal is to get him the ball and he's one of the best back shoulder catchers in the league. How many times do you see Aaron Rodgers throw back shoulder to Devontae Adams touchdown and
Right.
move the chains, whatever, right? Like you don't see any back shoulders. I think Terry can catch back shoulders. You don't see any of those. As I said, the one that they threw deep, he threw it over everybody's head. But anyway, so I don't like Scott Turner either, and he's another big part of why I am not happy with him. But I guess also to defend him, going back to defense, I guess, is you right now have a quarterback, and this is going to go towards Rodgers' point. You, like the China route, yeah. So you don't have, oh my God, I just lost my train of thought. You don't have the quarterback that is able to run this scheme. All right? And the big part of running the scheme, and at the NFL level, like if he was doing it, if he was at the college level, he would destroy this scheme. Like he would be awesome, which he was in Old Dominion, a very pass-happy scheme. But at the NFL level, the defense gets paid too, right? And sometimes when Scott Turner calls a play, the other team is going to have the perfect defense for it.
Yep.
And that's when you need your quarterback to check out of the play. Like, all right, let's run here, or let's do something different. Like, we need to have, and so this is where I agree with Roger. If you don't have the quarterback to run that scheme, then don't run that scheme. What does Tennessee do? I'm sure Tennessee's offensive coordinator would love to run more passes. They have Derrick Henry, a decent offensive line, and a quarterback that's not the best. Ryan Tannehill does great in play action, but he's not some Pat Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady.
Well, they don't have Henry now for a while, right?
Well, yeah, let's not go on a tangent. No, just kidding.
No.
No.
But no, I get your point.
And what do? They line up in heavy sets. They do some play actions, and they pound the freaking rock.
Yep.
And let's do it, right? Like, and that's how we can move the football, and maybe sprinkle in some of your plays here and there just to see if you can beat the defense. But a majority of it, and those are some of our best drives, is when you put Jarrett Patterson in there in the I formation, hand it off to him, and watch him go like the little bowling ball that he is, right? Like, right. I love Jarrett Patterson. So
well, and I was just going to say this real quick as to like give the old saying of take what the defense gives you. And I just remember a game. I'm sorry, I don't remember the year when Tennessee was number one against the run, and they were playing New England. So Bill Belichick proceeded to the first. I think the first 10 to.
I'm sorry. I want to hear this and my wife asked for a code. All right, I sent it. Go ahead.
Okay, no worries.
What you were going to say.
No, that's problem. But Tennessee was the number one rushing defense in the league when they went and played New England. So Bill Belichick proceeded to have the first 15 plays of the game were passes, and they sliced them up. And it was like, they're the best against the run. I'm not going to try to run against them. I'm going to slice up their secondary.
Yeah.
So take what the defense gives you. And I think the Redskins don't, whether it's Heineke or whatever it is, I don't know.
And who knows how much of that was Tom Brady making the check at the line, right? Like maybe they called some run plays. Well, who were they playing against?
Tennessee.
So maybe they called some run plays again, but Tennessee lined up in a 7-man box, and we don't have the blockers. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna check out of it, and we're gonna go to the pass play, right? Like, and it just happened to work that way. And obviously, Tom Brady is one of the masters of taking what the defense gives you. Whatever the defense gives him, he's gonna take it every single time, and he's not gonna look back. He's not gonna question it. Oh, you gave me the check down, wide open right out of the gate. I'm going to the check down, wide open out of the gate, and we're gonna move forward. And like, you'd like to see more of that, and like, it's just Taylor Heineke's just not it. Unfortunately, he doesn't have
and who was it? Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison, where they would walk up to the line and they would just look at each other. Yeah. Peyton Manning would look over, and they knew it. It's like they both knew this is their coverage. We're doing. I don't care what the play call is. We're doing this now, and he would throw the little quick slant to him, and he would get 25 yards on it it was just a look. And
Yeah.
right?
That reminds me of Brian Regan talking about chess and how it's a weird game of like how you end the game of checkmate. You don't actually take the king, and he's like, "What? Run the play, like do it. Take the like. What if you don't see it? Like, and take the king, right?"
Yeah,
And
or
he's like,
knock
"You
it
don't."
over.
Yeah, he's like, "You don't do this in the NFL. The quarterback doesn't come to the line and go, all right, touchdown, touchdown. The way your safety's playing, we're gonna run a slant, touchdown, game over, touchdown." And it's like, no, you gotta do it. You gotta anyway. But
All
yeah,
right.
it's
No. All right. That's funny. Yeah,
yeah,
touchdown. Oh, you blew the coverage. Touchdown. Okay.
yeah, yeah. Your safety's way out of position. Touchdown,
That's
game over.
funny.
But anyway, all right, you ready to talk about this defense?
Yeah, we can talk about what do you want to talk? Yeah, let's talk about the defense.
Our secondary's got to be the worst ever. I mean, there's I don't know how it's so bad. We have so much money in that secondary, yet they're so terrible. Like I know Chris likes to defend Cameron Curl, and honestly, I don't even have problems with that. I think Cameron Curl's fine. I like him. You know, he may have a play here or there that he would want back. Like one big play he messed up on was that Alvin Kamara touchdown to ice the game against the Saints. That was completely Cameron Curl's fault. But for the most part, he plays well. Outside of that, our secondary is abysmal. And the reason
Don't
that guys,
sugarcoat it.
oh, it's unbelievable how bad they are. And Montez Sweat, Chase Young, Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne, they're not getting the stats that everybody wants. Because if they run a 4-man rush and there's only 5 offensive linemen blocking, the ball is out in 2 seconds basically for a completion every time.
Right.
2.5 seconds. There's no time. If they only run a 3-man route that takes longer to develop, the other team runs max protection. And now you have 7 guys blocking 4. And I don't care. I mean, you're asking them to do way too much. That basically everybody is double teamed except for one guy in a certain scenario. And it's like, that's tough. It's really tough, especially because if it's only a one rush, the guy, you know, whoever the quarterback is, just steps away, avoids, and like, okay, now there's nobody else coming because I've got double teams on across the board. So, but the secondary is my biggest problem with the defense. What about you?
Well, and I agree with you. One thing I noticed this week, that because I was kind of paying attention to it, is they did a little more press coverage where they were up on the line instead of 10 yards back or whatever, 5, 8 yards back. So I like seeing that. But yeah, it's just too easy, and that I think part of that, or part of the third down conversion success by other teams, is because the secondary can't. You know, well, that's a different subject. Why they seem to be able to stop a team on first and second, but when it comes to third down, it could be 3rd and 18, and teams get 19 yards. It's just mind-boggling to me. But that has to be,
yeah.
You know, and again, I know, again, different subject, but it's something we've talked about so many times, is where's the blitz? When it's 3rd and 15, press coverage, blitz. Make them make a decision like that. You know, I don't care if it's a 0 blitz. You know, if you have man-to-man on the outside and you rush everybody else and just make them figure it out. And then if they did that and they got burned, I'd be fine. You know,
more power. The receiver made a great play. The receiver made a great play, probably. Yeah.
Quarterback, receiver made a great play to do it, but rushing 4.
In that scenario, they have to be precise too. Like it's got to be the perfect throw, the perfect route, and a perfect catch, right? Like you're not making that kind of a play on 3rd and 15, 3rd and 10, even under 2 seconds without perfection across the board, right? Like you're not going to get like an average throw, an average route, or whatever to complete that because the defender's going to stop you, right? So you're making the offense be perfect. Whereas if you don't pressure them at all, the receivers don't have to run perfect routes. Like it doesn't need to be a perfect read.
No, because then you give them 7 seconds to make the throw, and it's like the best secondary in the league can't cover good receivers for 7 seconds.
Right. 100%.
Period. I mean, just.
Period. End of story. Yeah.
But again, I will say, I just want to recap. I do think the defense played well enough to win this game. Not good. I'm not saying they're good, but they, again, with 342 total yards and you get a whopping 10 points on the board, that's, what is it? So on 9 drives, I'm looking at this. So 9 drives into 342.
Right under 40
What's that?
yards.
40, yeah.
35
So
yards ish. Yeah.
so you're moving the ball 35 yards on average, which I think some of doesn't break down that way, but it just I can't I don't know how many times they were in the red zone or close to the red zone, and then it would be like, oh, turn the ball over, holding penalty, and then they'd try a field goal and blew it. but
Yeah.
but
I mean, if we look here, if you take away the last drive where we were just heaving it at the end zone, right? We only had one drive under 29 yards.
right.
All game, or excuse me, 28 yards. Our shortest drive was -5. We had a bad drive, the first drive of this third quarter. But outside of that, our shortest drive was 28 yards. If you have
Right.
that, you should be winning the games.
And what's
But
the longest drive? Obviously, the
longest
touchdown
drive,
one is probably.
a 94-yard touchdown drive. For when DeAndre Carter caught that nice touchdown in the back of the end zone.
Well, I guess my question was, I know the touchdown one, but what was the longest drive where they didn't get any points?
We had 2 56-yarders, both just under 5.5 minutes. 11 plays, missed field goal, 56 yards was our second drive. We had another 55-yard drive ended in an interception. That was the one where he heaved it at the end zone at the end of the game.
Well, I'm just thinking, if you have a 55-yard drive, how often are you not in field goal range? I mean, I guess if you happen to get pinned, unless you get a punt that pins you inside the 10-yard line, I get it. But, kickoff or...
But even then, at worst case scenario, if you start at the 1, you go 55 yards, you're at the 44. It's a 61-yard field goal.
Right.
Worst case scenario. Which is a makeable. It's not an easy field goal by no stretch, but it's still a makeable field goal. So, yeah, even if it's in the worst case scenario.
Not for Blewett.
A 21-yard field goal is not easy for him. But, yeah, it's tough. It's tough. But, anyway.
Hey, you know what the one bright spot is the Redskins will not lose a game this week. That's my prediction.
Yes, that's a great prediction. That's a good. What's the score? It's like, what's your score prediction? All right, let's end the show with your. I know you make weekly picks based on the spread, so Chris and I have been picking them just straight up. But I would like you to go through your picks on the spread, and I'm curious what those.
Full disclosure, my picks have really sucked this year. In the overall scheme of things, normally I'm competitive. Well, I hope so. But all right, so I use I'm in a Yahoo league, so this is the spreads from their final. So this is as of Thursday. Actually, I think it's late Wednesday. They locked the spread, so I know a lot of these have changed to this point because Vegas changes them almost hourly, probably more than hourly. But anyway, so. We have Indianapolis at New York Jets tonight. Indianapolis is giving 10.5.
Okay.
I have picked the Jets.
Jets minus 10.5, or excuse me, plus 10.5.
Yep.
All right.
And then we have the Sunday games. Cincinnati is playing Cleveland. Cincinnati. It's at Cincinnati. They're giving 2.5. I have Cincinnati.
Cincy 2.5.
I think they're going to be upset that they got their butts kicked by a rookie quarterback, but they are the number 1 seed for a reason, or at least they were.
Yeah.
I got Dallas is giving. They're at home. They're giving 9.5 points to Denver. I have Denver.
So Denver plus 9.5. All right.
Yep, and then we have. At Miami, playing Houston, and this is a pick I read about that I'm not sure I'm confident in, but I have Houston. Houston's getting 6.5.
Houston's going against the Dolphins?
Yes, and Miami. You always have to do the ones because
I thought
my
you said
first thing.
and Miami. I was like, they're going against two teams of the same, but no,
Yeah,
in Miami.
yeah.
In Miami.
Miami and Miami. Yes.
Plus 6.5.
Um.
You said?
Yes. Houston's getting 6.5. Yes.
You know, it's that is a tough one. I think I'd still take freaking Dolphins because the Houston sucks so bad. But
So you're
I think it's
recording
fair.
these for record next week, right? So we could
Yep.
see how good. All right. So then we have New Orleans at home playing Atlanta, giving 6, and I got Atlanta.
Atlanta giving
Mhm.
6 or getting 6.
Getting 6. Yes.
All right, tough division rival there. Okay, okay.
Yep. And I actually have Vegas playing the Giants in New York, and the Giants are getting 2.5. I have the Giants.
Giants. So you're taking some
That was 4 in a row underdogs, I know.
yeah, underdogs, two and a
But
half.
this is one thing I want to say. I know we've talked about this too. Is Vegas is very, very good at spreads. It's curious how good they are. So
Magic Mike, the Jets will win. Maybe we could get Zach Wilson for a third rounder next year. Smoking like a true Redskins there, Roger. I know you were joking, but that was awesome. All right.
no, that was a good one.
Yep.
All right, so then when we go, New England is giving 4 at Carolina. I
Hmm.
have New England, so there's a favorite for you.
Oh, I disagree. I think I picked the Panthers to win that straight up.
Okay.
But you said minus what? 3.5?
Um, Carolina's getting 4, so yeah, New England -4, and I
Minus
got New
4.
England.
Okay. Cool. Go ahead.
And then we have Buffalo at Jacksonville, and I know this is a potential for a blowout, but I don't ever like giving that many points. So Jacksonville's getting 14.5,
Uh huh.
and I got Jacksonville.
That's gonna be wrong, but I like it.
I'm well. I know the problem. My problem is every time these kind of games, not every time, obviously, but so many times I pick, oh yeah, they're going to blow them out, and then they get up by 10 points. The other team gets a garbage touchdown. Then you're in the second half, and now you're fighting. They're ahead. Buffalo's going to win, and Buffalo may win by 2 touchdowns, but the possibility that they get into the second half up by 10 points, now they're just trying to burn the clock, and they're
Yep.
not. You know what I'm saying? So I hate giving that many points. So the next one is at Baltimore. They're giving Minnesota 5.5. I have Baltimore.
Baltimore. Sorry, Baltimore giving what?
5.5 to Minnesota.
Five and a
So
half.
Baltimore -5.5.
Okay.
We have the Chargers at Philadelphia. They're giving Philadelphia 1.5. I have the Chargers.
I picked the Eagles in an upset, and I kind
Well,
of like that pick because you said it's only a 1.5 point spread.
yes.
That's interesting. I would have thought that would have been a bigger spread, and I feel like they're begging people to pick the Chargers. I like it. Chargers minus one
Well,
and a
and
half.
being that they give 3, yeah, they're basically saying Philadelphia is favored in this game because home field gives you 3 points, and they're giving a 1.5 back to Philadelphia. So they're thinking that,
They're
you know
four
what I'm
and a half
saying?
point
It's like,
dogs. They're actually 4.5
yeah.
point dogs according to that. But I think they should be bigger dogs.
Who?
The Eagles should be bigger dogs. I think.
Well, they're another team that play. It's like
Yeah.
you don't know which team's going to show up. And then we have at Kansas City is giving 1 point to Green Bay.
Hmm.
Got KC. Aaron Rodgers is not playing.
Guess what?
What?
I still pick the Packers.
I know. A backup
Minus
quarter. A
one, you
good.
said?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And you're right. A good team with a backup quarterback historically does very well. But I still think, and again, call me crazy, I still think at some point Kansas City's going to get the ghosts out of their head. I think they were shell shocked,
Yeah.
but I think at some point they're going to come back and wake up. And I think that I thought about that of the Redskins for the last 5 weeks, which hasn't happened. So I could be wrong,
Yep.
but I just think that KC is going to, they're at home and maybe things will get right with them. And I think if they get right with them, it's going to be a substantial
Imagine
win.
the last 3 years, the Chiefs are only 1 point favorites against a team that doesn't have their starting quarterback.
I know. That's what it's mind blowing to me. Well, and it's like how many seasons since Mahomes has been there? How many seasons have they lost 4 games in an entire season? Much less be 3-4.
Mm-hmm. None. I don't. I
So
don't. Well, maybe they went 11-5 when he got hurt. It's been bad. Or I mean,
yeah,
it's been a bad year. It's been great for them for the
yeah.
last few.
All right, so we got 3 more games. We have San Francisco at home is coin flip with Arizona, and
Really?
yeah, I got San Fran.
I do too.
I
They're
heard
even.
something. What's his name? Murray. There's something that's not right about Murray? I thought is what I read. So
Oh, interesting. I
yeah,
just
they're
picked them because like division rivalry. I thought there might be an upset, a brewing. I thought
yeah.
the San.
Monday and Tuesday it was San Francisco given. Wait, why does it say -2.5? That doesn't make sense to me. Maybe it was San Francisco was -2.5 or was 2.5 favorites, but 2.5 point favorites Monday and Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
Because the spreads on Yahoo are all positive numbers. So it's like Baltimore is given 5.5. But for some reason on the San Francisco line, it has -2.5, -2.5, and then 0. So I don't know if that means that San Francisco was actually the underdog until whatever happened with what's his face in Arizona, Murray, right?
Yeah.
So maybe it was Arizona was favored by 2.5. That's why it shows -2.5 because they've switched it around
I'm not
because
gonna
they
lie.
made.
I did not follow any of that. I really don't know what you just said. So let's move on to the next game.
Yeah.
I
Anyway,
think
I'd
what
have
you
to.
said may have made sense. I was lost a little bit there. So
Yeah, I just like I said, it has San Francisco favored, but the there's the favorite and the underdog
yeah.
left and right. San Francisco is the favorite on
Uh-huh.
the favorite side because they're at home, but it's 0 points. But earlier in the week, it was 2.5 one way or the other, and on
Yeah.
here it shows -2.5, which
But it should
makes
show
me
the
think,
plus.
yeah, that's so. I don't know. You're right. It doesn't matter, and I'm not. I'm sure I'm not explaining it well, but anyway, the Rams are at home, and they are giving Tennessee 7.5.
Okay.
I have the Rams.
Nice. No D Henry.
Yeah, I think. Oh, did you hear they signed Peterson?
They did. Yeah.
If Rob from Haymarket is still here, he's the one who told me that. I have to give him credit where credit is due.
You
So,
know it's
but yeah,
bad when
they.
you're getting your football news from Rob from Haymarket. That's.
Yeah, what does he know about football?
I think he's still wondering what the weather will be at his tea time.
Yeah, that's another
All
discussion.
right.
And
We have
and then the
Monday Night
last one,
Football.
yeah, the last one is Pittsburgh at home. I'm of the opinion I agree with those that say that Pittsburgh's inability to score with any regularity is I have a problem with them giving 6.5, so I pick Chicago.
The Bears getting 6.5. You got a lot of underdogs on this sheet.
Let's see, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 favorites and 1, 2, 3, 4,
Seven.
five,
It's
six,
4-team
seven.
game. Yeah.
So I'm even just like your poll you took, I am even down the middle, 50-50.
That's right. Fitty fitty.
And
Fitty
by the
fitty.
way, just again, full disclosure, with the way my picks have been going, which I got 5 right last week, it would make total sense for me to completely change all these picks, and I could potentially be 9 right, or yeah. So, but if I do that, then it's going to blow up. So, but
You got to ride with what you want. What you're thinking. You got to ride with what you're thinking. Yeah, it's
yeah,
interesting to compare what the underdog is and things like that when you start picking the against the spread. It's a whole different ballgame. It's hard, much harder.
well, and it's
Honestly, if I was
funny.
picking against the spread, I might be doing way worse than what I don't know what my exact record is, but I had one week where I did really well. I think I only got one wrong, and that was when the Giants beat the Panthers. That was annoying, but outside of that, that was it. Oh, look at that! We got a super chat. What up, John? Hey, Tim, good to see you're back and running. This Sunday will be a mental health day for sure. Good show. Thank you so much, John, for hanging out with us. And yes, it's going to be nice to not see Tim have an aneurysm at how bad the defense is playing or a boneheaded play call or something like that. It's going to be nice to woo-saw, take a little breather from this team. But who knows? There might be some weird thing that comes out to set me off anyway on the like such as Ron Rivera not evaluating the football team. That's just outrageous. But anyway, thank you so much for the super chat again there, John. All right, well, that is a show. And I guess I'll announce this just to kind of give the news around the NFC East. Currently, the Giants just lost to Kansas City in a close one, 20-17. They're sitting at 2-6 at the bottom of the division. Eagles dismantled the Lions 44-6. They have now a 3-5 record, sitting in second place. And the Dallas Cowboys beat Kirk Cousins and the Vikings with Cooper Rush playing, and they moved to 7-1.
I can't help but be amused at how many people I'm on a Redskins or Washington football team group in Facebook, and how many times every week people go, they let Kirk Cousins go. Let Kirk Cousins go. Look what he's doing in Minnesota, yeah. And it's like, let's look what he's doing in Minnesota. So
yeah, he is arguably the best wide receiver duo in football with Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson. He has a top 5 running back in Dalvin Cook. Like he has plenty of weapons over there. Like Conklin is not a terrible tight end. He's not great, but anyway, it is funny to hear those people come out of the woodworks of every time Washington has a bad game. It's Kirk Cousins defenders.
Yeah, last time I looked, their record's not very good in Minnesota.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, hey, we're getting close to Thursday Night Football, so I say, please, everybody root for me. Go Jets. I don't need them to win. Just stay within 10 points. And look, I got to be honest. I'd love to see the guy. What'd you say his name was? White?
Mike White.
Mike White. I want to see him duplicate his 500-yard performance that knocked my butt out of the suicide.
Maybe he's the best quarterback ever.
Yeah.
He's a sleeping giant.
Yes, we
asking, what are you drinking over there? Sweet tea? Absolutely
not. It's sweet, but it's not tea. It's actually not that sweet, but it's good.
What is the wine?
Well, normally I drink Chardonnay, but I got this. It's called Crisp White, and it's not as sweet as Chardonnay, but it's actually pretty good. It's I don't know. It's white wine. Like I said, I looked at it. I thought, oh, I like the flavors of it. I want to try it. So it's called Crisp White. I don't know what that means. I don't know if it's crisp, but it's good. But anyway, like I said, everybody root for the Jets to stay within 10. And root for Mike White to blow the doors off of, maybe, hey, who knows? Maybe next year the Jets will be in the running for the Super Bowl with their new franchise quarterback.
And on that note, until next time.
Hey, thanks for hanging out, everybody. See ya.